Chapter 1. The day my world crumbled. It was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. My wedding day. I stood in front of the mirror in my bridal suite, glowing in my white silk gown, eyes shimmering with excitement. Everything was perfect. The floral arrangements, the music, even the perfume of fresh roses filled the air. I had waited 3 long years to marry Arav, the man I loved more than life itself. He was my first love, my only love. But just an hour before the ceremony, my phone buzzed. A single message from a stranger. Check the garden. Now. Curious and a little nervous, I stepped out of the bridal suite. My heels clicked softly against the marble floor as I made my way to the garden. What I saw next shattered every piece of me. There they were, Arav and Nina, kissing passionately under the arch of white lilies. Nina, my best friend, the girl who grew up with me, shared my secrets, wiped my tears. And now, the girl who had stolen my groom on our wedding day. Tears spilled down my cheeks before I could stop them. I wanted to scream, collapse, disappear. Instead, I turned around, straightened my veil, and walked back inside. That day, I didn't cry in front of anyone. I didn't scream or beg Arav for answers. When they came to tell me that the wedding was off and that Arav had decided to marry Nina instead, I simply smiled. And in that moment, I made a promise to myself. They will pay. Both of them. But I won't use anger. I'll use sweetness. I'll make my revenge so beautiful, they'll never see it coming. Chapter 2. Building my empire. In the months that followed, I buried the pain deep inside me and focused on one thing, my career. I was a fashion designer, just starting out, but I threw myself into my work like a woman on fire. I moved cities, started from scratch, and worked day and night. Slowly, my designs started getting noticed. First small boutiques, then fashion shows, then celebrities. Within 2 years, I had my own label, Meera Malhotra, and it became one of the hottest brands in India. People were calling me the next big thing. But what they didn't know was that every stitch, every fabric, every late night was fueled by heartbreak and revenge. Then, one evening, I got a message from a wedding planner. Hello, Miss Malhotra. We'd like to hire you as the designer for an exclusive high-profile wedding in Delhi. The bride specifically asked for you. Attached was a picture of the couple, Nina and Arav. Oh, how perfect. Chapter 3. The Return. I walked into the wedding venue like a queen. It had been 3 years since that horrible day, but I looked better than ever, successful, stylish, confident. I wore a deep red sari with gold embroidery and walked with grace that could silence a room. When Nina saw me, her smile dropped. Meera, she whispered, as if seeing a ghost. Hello, darling, I smiled sweetly. Heard you're finally getting your fairy tale. Arav looked at me too, a little too long, and I noticed a flicker of regret in his eyes. You look amazing, he said quietly. Thanks, I said. Let's make your wedding just as amazing. The irony was delicious, me designing the wedding outfits for the couple who betrayed me. But this was just the beginning. Chapter 4. Laying the Trap. As the wedding preparations began, I got closer to Nina again. She was hesitant at first, but slowly started trusting me again, especially when she saw how calm and forgiving I seemed. I listened to her talk about Arav, about their future, about their perfect love story. I smiled, nodded, and stitched her dream wedding dress with tiny needles of betrayal sewn in. While I worked, I started dropping little seeds. I mentioned how tired Arav looked lately, how distracted he seemed. I told her I saw him texting someone late at night during fittings. I even staged a few accidental situations where he was seen with a model from my label. Slowly, doubt crept into Nina's heart. But I wasn't done yet. Chapter 5. Enter Kabir. Around the same time, I met Kabir Arora, the wedding photographer. He was tall, charming, and had eyes that seemed to look right into your soul. You're not like the others, he told me one evening as we sipped coffee after a long day of fittings. Neither are you, I replied. Kabir and I clicked instantly. He was kind, funny, and completely unaffected by the glittering world around him. He treated me like I was more than just a designer or a woman with a broken past. I didn't plan to fall for him, but slowly I did, and it scared me more than I wanted to admit. Chapter 6: Sweet Chaos. A week before the wedding, I invited Nina for a final dress trial. The gown was perfect, ivory silk, pearl embroidery, and a veil that looked like a dream. But I had hidden a small audio chip in the box. It played a private recording I had accidentally received, a phone conversation between Arav and a woman named Ria. "I miss you," she said. "Can't believe you're marrying her." "I have to," Arav replied. "It's good for business." She trusts me blindly. When Nina heard it, she froze. Where did that come from?" she whispered. I pretended to look surprised. "I have no idea. Maybe someone mixed it in by mistake." She didn't speak for a long time. By the next morning, the wedding was postponed. And Arav? He had no idea what had happened. Chapter 7: The Truth Comes Out. A few nights later, I met Kabir by the lake near the venue. The sky was full of stars, and the breeze carried the scent of jasmine. "You're not just here for the wedding, are you?" he asked gently. I sighed. "I came for closure. And maybe a little revenge." He looked at me with those deep brown eyes. "Do you feel better?" I paused. "A little, but not completely. I thought revenge would heal me, but it still hurts." Kabir reached out and held my hand. "Then let me help you heal." For the first time in years, I allowed myself to cry. Chapter 8: The Final Blow. The day of the wedding finally arrived. Despite the drama, Nina had agreed to go through with it. She had no idea that I had invited a few special guests. As she walked down the aisle, I gave the signal. The screen lit up with a slideshow not of her and Arav, but of Ria and Arav, cozy and intimate. Gasps filled the room. Nina froze. Arav stood there, his face pale. It was over. Nina turned and slapped him across the face in front of everyone. "I should have known," she hissed. "You were never worth it." She walked away from him, and for the first time in my life, I felt no pain, just freedom. Chapter 9: A New Beginning. A week later, I was back in Mumbai. My boutique was busy, my phone full of new orders. Life was moving forward. And Kabir? He came with me. He wasn't just the photographer. He had become something much more. One evening, he stood on my balcony with a ring in his hand. "I know you've been hurt. I know love scares you now. But I want to be the man who never lets you cry again. Will you marry me, Meera?" Tears filled my eyes, not from sadness, but from joy. "Yes," I whispered. 1,000 times yes. Chapter 10: Sweeter Than Revenge. I didn't just get revenge. I got peace. I got love. I got a life that was mine, not stolen, not borrowed, but earned. And as I walked down the aisle with Kabir months later, I realized something. The sweetest revenge wasn't breaking them. It was becoming whole again. And finding a love that was never built on betrayal, but on truth. And that, my friend, was the real victory.